It doesn't matter how many we are here, right? With our whole hearts and souls, when we worship God, we know that God will be with us and fill us with His Holy Spirit. And as you know, actually Howard on Friday told me that he went to the doctors and then and the doctor said that maybe in a week there's nothing will happen. So I kind of checked it with him because he's supposed to deliver sermon today, like this morning, 7 o'clock or so, he called me and then he asked me, Pastor Kang, are you okay? Maybe you are okay, but I'm not okay. Anyway, so God gave us the opportunity to, it doesn't matter the word itself, but like God with us, and throughout the whole week, I meditate on the words of God, and then I want to share with you. So today's passage is from Joshua, chapter 2, verse 1 through 7. We're going to read it. I'm going to read it odd verses, and you're going to read it even verse. And verse 7, we're going to read it together. It's pretty small, but can you read it?
Yes. Enough to read, and so let's read it.
So then Joshua, son of Nun, secretly sent spies from Shittim. Go, look over the land, he said, especially Jericho. So they went and entered the house of a prostitute named Rahab and stayed there.
The king of Jericho was told, look, some of the Israelites have come here to collect these spies and spy out the land.
So the king of Jericho sent this message to Rahab, bring up the men who came to you and entered your house, because they have come to spy out the whole land.
The woman had taken 2 men and she said, yes, the men came to me, but I did not know where they had come from.
At dusk, when it was time to close the city gate, the men left. I don't know which way they went. Go after them quickly, you may catch up with them.
But she had taken them out onto the roof and hidden them under the box of flax she had made up.
Together, so the men set out in pursuit of the spies on the road that leads to the pools of the Jordan, and as soon as the pursuers had gone out, the gate was shut. So one cold day in Japan, so 2 close friends went to a bar for a drink. And one friend got a little bit late, so the other friend was waiting for him. And when he came, so entered the bar, he saw an old lady who was selling flowers. So he stopped it and asked, Grandma, are you selling flowers on such cold night today? And she replies, my granddaughter is sick. I need to buy medicine for her. So that's why I'm selling flowers. So he bought a couple of bundles of flowers. And when he got into the bar, his friend was waiting, so he pulled bundles of flowers. And he asked, did you buy them from the old lady in front of the bar? Yeah. Wasn't she saying that she's selling them for her granddaughter's medicine? Yes. Anything wrong? She's lying. She even doesn't have a granddaughter. What a shame. But the friend told his friend, really? Wow. Is that true that the poor grandma's granddaughter isn't sick? So she's not sick, or she doesn't have a granddaughter? What a great relief. That's great. So let's have cheers, friends. So it's from the advertisements of Japan. So even the same story, even the same situation, from what perspective we see, it can be a totally different story. So now I want to tell you the story of Jericho. And you guys know this story already. So it is very famous story, and it's story of victory. I mean, big victory. But you know, this story can be a story of great failure, a great defeat. If we see the same story from the perspective of Canaanites, what would that be? So now, I want to tell you this story from the view of Joshua and Israelite today, but when I have a chance, I'm going to tell this same story from the perspective of Rahab and from the perspective of God, probably when I have a chance. Probably not soon. But anyway, so it is an exciting story of victory. But the point is that how could he, an Israelite, win such a great victory? So I want to point out 2 points from this story. First, they prepared themselves. So Joshua prepared himself completely. So complete preparation. So let's read verse 1 together one more time. Can you go back? So verse 1. Ready, go. Then Joshua son of Nun secretly sent 2 spies from Sittim and go look over the land, he said, especially Jericho. So they went and entered the house of prostitute named Leah and stayed there. So Joshua sent 2 spies to check it out, look over the land, especially the Jericho, right? So, you know, the 손잡이법, the famous Chinese classic on battle, says that if you know yourself and if you know the enemy, so you will win. You know, like even though 100 times you have a battle, you will win 100 times, kind of thing. But actually, it's a little different in those old classic. They're like if you know yourself and if you know the enemy, then there will be no crisis. Even though there's a 100 times battle, there will be no crisis. But after that, it is followed like this. But you know yourself. But if you don't know the enemy, then maybe half and half. So you will win sometime, but you will lose sometime. But if you don't know the enemy, but also if you don't know yourself, then you will lose all the time, 100%. So when I meditate this passage, nowadays, our church, whether we know the world and we know ourselves, I don't think so. Looks like we don't know ourselves. We don't know the world, which is we need to overcome. We need to conquer. Then how can we win? Even though we don't know them, we don't know us. You know the David and Goliath, one of my favorite stories. But there's something that we miss usually. You know, David. So he's kind of too bright enough. So that's why he couldn't see anything. So that's why he go out and fight against the Goliath. He might kind of maybe, so he has so strong face, so that's why he couldn't see anything. He just go out and then fight against the Goliath. But do you think whether David know himself enough? You understand what I'm saying? David was not that stupid. He knew himself really well. So when King Saul gave his own, armor and his weapon, he tried it. But he told King Saul, it doesn't fit me. I don't need it. It's a great honor to have those, the king's own armor and weapon. So even though it's maybe dragging it, he might carry it and show them, I got this from the King Saul. But David didn't. Because he knew himself. So, and he already get used to it, which was swing and stones. Because he used those all the time. And he knew himself. So that means, according to the 손잡을법, so 50%, right? He knows himself. Even though he doesn't know the enemy, he knew himself. So 50% victory, right? Possible. But just only 50%. So in the Bible, we don't have a record that King David, no, not at the time he was a boy, but like that. So boy David, got a what you call it, like a telescope, and then check it out the enemy, and especially Goliath, and then we don't know there's no record like that. But do you think that David swing the stone and throw it out, through the air, but like all of a sudden God took that stone and then move and then finally hit the Goliath. What do you put here? Forehead. Do you think so? He just threw anywhere but God took that stone and then moved like a missile, hit the Goliath? No! David knew where he threw it. He aimed it. And he practiced all the time while he fight against the wild animals. So he knew the Achilles gun of Goliath. When he checked it out, he didn't not like that. He was, observed, and then he figured it out. It's the Achilles gun. He aimed it. He threw at it, and finally got him. That means he knew Goliath too. He knew the enemy. That's why he could win. We know that even though he had confidence, but he was humble enough. Because he knew that God was with him throughout when he looked after the animals in the field. So that he prayed and he prepared, but as I say, he prepared himself very well. So he knew himself, and he also knew the enemy. So I'm going to challenge you guys. When you fight against the world, we need to conquer the world. That's the land that we conquer, right? That's Canaan for us. Probably San Jose, or northern the California, or even the United States. It's a Canaan for us. God already promised to us to I'll give you. Right? Then we need to study about the enemy. And then we need to study about us. What's our merits? And what's our weak points? And then what's our talents? And how can we attack the enemy? Things like that. So we need to do that. And secondly, we need to expect that there will be obstacles, even though we do prepare completely. We think we prepare ourselves completely. Still, there will be obstacles. So let's say I become a coach of a soccer team. I mean, let's suppose, okay? I don't know about the soccer, but let's be, I'm a soccer coach. So I kind of train my players, right? But like when I train them, so there's no goalkeeper, and then there's no defense. So I just tell them, just as soon as possible, as quick as possible, you kick the ball and then drive the ball, and then there's a goal post, and then kick it. So I'm gonna just check it how fast you can do it, right? So we keep practicing day and night. We keep practicing like that. And then we went to the game. And what do you expect? We practice all day long. We practice very hard, right? But without goalkeeper and without defense. We practice very hard. But when a real game, what will happen? We cannot say to the judge, we practice without the goalkeeper and then the defense. So please let them get out of the field. We're gonna do that without them. We cannot say that. Same. Likewise, the spiritual battle, same. What I mean, we cannot tell the enemy, the Satan, hey, you guys get off our way. This, we don't need you. We cannot say to the Satan. We should expect that there all the time they will be on our way. If there is any chance, they try to make us fall. That's their goal. Then what? Even though there will be a Satan on our way, we should make the goal, right? We cannot make an excuse. Because of the Satan over there, because someone, I could make a goal, God. If there's a no Satan, if there's a no one who disturb us, I could make it. We cannot say that. No matter what, we need to make it through. And maybe, if there's several events, we need to practice, right, against those events, and finally make it work. And here, the verse 1 again. Joshua son of Nun sent two spies, but there was a one-head group. What was it? In the team. The Joshua son of Nun and sent two spies. Regina, what was the goal there? Hey June, what is the verb in the team? Can you read? Secretly, right? What does mean of secretly here? Joshua, expect that the Canaanite, especially the people of Jericho, right? They will be there, right? They will prepare themselves also, right? That's why. And then here, secretly means I think, I believe here, even without telling their own people Israel. Because when they came back, they report to the Joshua only. When Moses sent the 12 spies including Joshua, I think there's a no word secretly. They kind of confident enough, or I don't know, but like when they came back, they report to the whole Israel. And then 10 of the spies, spoke bad report. They report badly, and that's why they couldn't make it. And then 40 years wandering in the desert, right? So Joshua knew all those. Joshua expected there will be an obstacle like that. So he sent his 2 spies secretly. He needs to know about the enemy, but also he expected there will be an obstacle. So he tried to, shun off all those obstacles. Do you play Hadoop? How about Chinese chess? When you play those games, if you want to do good, you need to read the steps in place, right? So if you're really good, if you could read 3 steps ahead, or even sometimes 10 steps ahead. So if you move like this, the person will move like that, and right. So if you do really good chess player or the Hadoop player, they read like 10 steps ahead, or even the whole, they can do it. The bookie, right? They read it, they put it back again. So that means there was a way they can put. So that's very important lesson we can learn from that. When you do something, we need to have a face, but face doesn't cover everything. We need to prepare ourselves well. We need to read someone else's mind. We need to read the situation, and then we need to be wise. Faith is, even though we prepare ourselves completely, still there is something. We need to be humble. And we need to ask for God's providence. Like 2 days, even though we didn't go through this, they prepared really well, right? And so Joshua sent them secretly. But you know what happened? As soon as they got into the Jericho, what happened? They knew it. And then King of Jericho sent the men, so they even knew the place where they were, right? Even though he did it very secretly, but they already knew, right? So anyway, finally God, through the layout, saved them, right? And then finally God gave them a victory. So it is very important for us to prepare ourselves well. So we need to know ourselves. Sometimes we think we know ourselves very well, but we are the one, probably, sometimes, the only one who doesn't know ourselves. Everybody knows, but you, right? So humbly and secretly, and we need to investigate ourselves, who we are. And also, we are the light of the world. We are the salt of the world. That means We need to shine ourselves in the world. We need to be a salt in the world. But we don't know that at home. Then how can we be the light of the world? How can we be the salt of the world even though we don't know that? That's impossible. So we know we need to study that. Right? And even though we prepare ourselves very carefully, still something will happen. We need to expect that something will happen because they also have a intelligence. They are not the rocks or trees, right? All the people out there, they are very smart, even sometimes smarter than us, right? So we kind of try to make a goal. We should expect that there will be a goalkeeper, right? They'll catch the ball and then they block the ball. And not just goalkeeper, there was somebody going to tackle us, right? Then we need to expect it. And then we need to read the steps, especially when you do try to evangelize. You know, nowadays, they are very smart. They know every step we're going to move. So when you try to evangelize them, so when you try to tell them, oh, please come to the church, they know what to say. So we need to be prepare ourselves well. We know that God has a mission for us. God has vision for us. But in order to win the land that God will give us, we need to prepare ourselves well. And then we need to expect there will be obstacles. And for sure, we need God's guidance, God's grace. But still, we need to prepare ourselves well. Let's pray. God, thank you so much that you give us this lesson through the Joshua and Israelites. Even though they knew that you are with them, still they prepared themselves well. So Joshua sent spies secretly and to check it out, the enemy. And though they knew themselves well, Joshua knew their weakness. That's why he did it secretly. And through that, also he knew that they will disturb them. They'll put the obstacles in front of them. So he prepared himself well. They prepared themselves well. And finally, with your grace, they could conquer the land that you gave to them. So we know that you gave us this land. Help us to prepare ourselves well in order to win the land that you gave to us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Give me one more.